Welcome, welcome from the Navy Pier. We're going to be going live here in just a minute at Cider Summit in Chicago. Come on inside and enjoy this amazing festival. I have a special co-host with me today. You'll be meeting her shortly as we get ready for the second session at the Navy Pier. Well, welcome to the Navy Pier.
I know, this is amazing to see all these people here.
This is your hometown.
It is. It is so great to have everyone here enjoying Summit, surviving this Arctic freeze that Chicago had.
Oh, well, I hear it's even colder at home back in New England. So it's like Arctic freeze across the land. You have a beautiful city here.
Well, thank you so much.
The people, the skyline, absolutely gorgeous. So let's hear a little bit about what you're doing in cider and talking to the folks out here.
So for those who don't know me, my name is Malaika. I'm one half of the cider blogging duo Cider Songs. We're based here in Chicago, and we're really focused on getting people who may not know a lot about cider introduced to the community and drinking it, exploring it, learning about the diversity about cider, and then also helping diverse individuals really get involved within the industry and really be there as a consumer. It's been a passion of ours probably for the past 11 years or so. And so we're happy to still be here, happy to be here talking with you, Ria, and yeah, happy to be here at Summit to really have it back and have it back strong.
Yeah, it's been a kind of a dry time here in Chicago without having an in-person cider summit.
Yeah,
it makes me a little sad, but no more time for sadness. It's all about moving forward. So I have a little question for you. You and Sean, you're like full into cider. If I was going to sneak into your house and open up the refrigerator when nobody was looking, what cider would I find in there?
Well, we belong to a lot of clubs, so it might be the time of the year that it arrives. We really like a lot of wine-driven types of cider. So for us, those are the ones that are really like the clean expression of the fruit. So if you open it up right now, you're going to find some Hakens, and Hakens makes ciders a lot from apples that are out in Colorado, where they're based. It's Prosecco-like. You're going to find a lot of Eaton, and we're going to find her sparkling ciders, also her still ciders. A lot of people don't realize the cider can be still. And just other things that we find that we just happen to pick up. We travel a lot. It's always great to meet these amazing cider makers and really get exposed to the different kinds of ciders throughout the U.S. and also the world.
Mm-hmm. You're hitting across the board there, like Eden in Vermont. We're going to be speaking to Eleanor soon.
Yes.
And the Hakens in Colorado. Have you been able to visit their cidery?
We did. We visited long ago in the way back times when they first opened up. And I know they've expanded and grown significantly. Actually, you can now get their cider at the French Laundry, which I think is amazing.
What does that mean, the French Laundry? We want to clarify what that means.
For those who don't know, it's a really upscale restaurant in the Napa region. And so to have a cider on their menu when people go there to really taste wine just kind of shows how these ciders can really cross into the wine community and let them know that cider, again, has like that great diversity.
Now, in your circle of friends, do you find a wide web of cider drinkers, or are you like the person who's like, well, we could really count on you to show up with some cider?
They can always count on us. Always count on us to show up with something new and unique. But I do find a wide diversity of cider drinkers. And again, that's what makes cider great. I mean, there's people who really like very sweet ciders, and that's great. And the people who like very dry ciders, and the ones who like the in-between, the barrel-aged, the fruited. I mean, that's why cider is such a wonderful beverage, because you can have something that can appeal to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever made cider?
No interest at all. Everyone makes all of these amazing products and has access to such wonderful fruit that it's something that I think I'd probably be a little bit too hard on myself or ourselves if we actually tried to do it. So I'd rather just drink what amazing product comes out of all of these cideries.
I hear you. There's so much. It's at one point that's the only way you could get cider. Now you could go to like any kind of store now and find it in most like obscure areas in the U.S., which is really nice.
It is. It is. It's rare that we go into a liquor store or bottle shop and aren't able to find at least one cider.
Yeah, that's great. Now, what's coming up for the Cider Songs? Anything that you kind of looking forward to in like 2023? We're here in February, and you have any plans for travel or?
Yeah, so we're going to continue our travels. We usually try to visit different regions, 4 or 5 different regions a year. We're going to head out to Barrel and Flow, which is the largest Black Brewers Fest. That's going to be in Pittsburgh in August. We're going to go to Michigan. We're going to head out to Seattle. And also we're kind of trying to revamp the site. Over the past few years, we've moved from doing reviews to really telling people stories. And we're going to continue to tell cider maker stories because I think that's part of why so many people are drinking wine is that they know these winemakers have stories. They're the grapes, they're handpicking them. And so if we can put some of that romanticism into the cider storytelling, we can kind of draw more people into the category.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, that's always part of it, drawing more people in. So we had Day here earlier from the Barrel and Brew. He was co-hosting the first part of it, and I want to let folks listening right now. We do have an earlier session that is now on the Cider Chat YouTube channel from that live that took place during session 1 of the Chicago Cider Summit. And Day was there, and we had Alexis and a whole other bevy of folks chit-chatting. We're waiting for the folks from Women Employed. I'm wondering if we could maybe ask Sean to go over and see what's going on with them.
Sure,
they're going to be coming
absolutely. Up here. I will too. I'll be right back.
All right. So we're looking for some of our guests here are going to be coming up here, such as Alan Shapiro, who heads the Cider Summit, and Mary Kay Devine of Women Employed. Women Employed is one of the co-sponsors of this event, and it's really nice for Alan to do this, to work with just such an amazing co-sponsor that does so much for women in this area. So we'll be bringing her up shortly, and then we'll be talking with Eleanor from Eden.
We haven't made it up to Vermont, but we did get to spend some time with Eleanor. We did kind of a New York trip, and we got to hang out with her and Michelle McGrath, who's the executive director of the American Cider Association. And that was great. It was great to really be with them, nerd out on apples, get out there in the orchards, and really see the different kind of terroir. Again, like bringing it back to the wine world. When we were up in the Finger Lakes, up in the mountains, the ciders there taste a lot different than the ciders that are in the Hudson Valley. Temperature, I mean, you can kind of tell it was a lot cooler. You get into the valley, it's a lot warmer. And so it was really nice to be able to have that experience.
Yeah, we just did a New York terroir workshop at CiderCon, talking about that factor there and how it really changes. You know, when you're looking for a cidery, it's not just about location in terms of people, but for that climate, you know, what side of the hill it is, what's the wind differential on one side or the other, and that's really coming to play with climate change right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what maybe a cider that was barreled 5 years ago or bottled 5 years ago, you have that same one 5 years, like having these vertical tastings, like how much things might change because of that climate.
Totally. In fact, I just opened one of my 2017 spontaneous ferments from one of my favorite orchards in Massachusetts, a really beautiful colonial orchard, and that cider is finally spot on. Just spot on. I couldn't drink it in the beginning. It was like really a lot of jackfruit, a lot of juicy fruit kind of flavor, and just not really so well. But 5 years later, it's kicking out, and just I wish I didn't drink so much. That's a pain in my existence.
I know.
Patience.
It is. Yeah, Sean always gets on me about that. He's like, we're holding on to these forever. I was like, well, we don't know how it's going to change.
I know. Hey, I see Alan Shapiro's coming up here. He's going to be joining us. Come on in, Alan. And yeah, take a seat. This is the founder of the Cider Summit, not only in Chicago, but a couple of different places. So we're going to bring you in here and tell us a little bit about the event. We're at the second session.
Apologies for keeping you waiting.
Oh, wait,
we got festival stuff.
Talking about the storm here.
Good.
Come on in here. We don't want to lose our co-host here. We'll kind of turn you a little bit. There we go.
All right. Hi, everyone. we're in the midst of a busy, like, fun, great cider day. People, the vibe has been great in the room today, and people are having a good time. I think really enjoying being back together again. And it was late February 2020 when we were last here. And so
Fantastic.
I think it's been a really happy cider day.
Yes, it is. It's a good day to be alive in Chicago. So you have been doing this event for how many years now?
We came to our first event in Chicago was 2013. So this is our ninth, I believe. And so we came here because the Cider Industry Conference, CiderCon, began at that time annually in Chicago before they started alternating cities. And so we thought this would be a great opportunity to create almost, what I considered the Great American Beer Festival of cider, because we had so many cider makers in from around the country and around the world. And there was just no other time and place where we could do that. And, Chicago in 2013 wasn't necessarily the most advanced cider city compared to the Northwest and New England. But it has taken off, and hopefully we'll be a good partner in helping to develop this cider category in the region.
You know what I like about what Alan does here is before every festival, he's a class act. All the people he works with. Hey, don't be picking on my friend Alan. Don't you be shaking your head about that. He pulls the team together. They all wear these bright uniforms here, but that's good because you're drinking, you want to feel safe, and he draws all the folks together right before, and everybody gets a little glass like we have here. We have our glasses here, and does a little cheers, which is so beautiful. It's a nice way. It's all about not just creating an event and as a business, but really creating community, which you're really good at. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to do my high school principal speech. So here's all the rules you guys have to follow if you want to be a part of our summits. But it is, that's my favorite part, is to kind of end it on that high note and that sense of community. And it's just all part of the Cider Summit experience.
Yeah, I bet you're going to be sleeping well tonight. You've been leaning up to this huge event. It's going to be kind of crazy.
We're here. It takes us a couple of hours after the event closes to shut down, cleaned up, and everything loaded out. And we try to go have a bite to eat as a production team, and then the crash comes. So we're on adrenaline right now, and then about 11 p.m. tonight, we'll be falling over dinner.
Well, probably us too. Hey, do you have any dinner recommendations for Alan to go to tonight?
Well, the reunion it's new and it's opened up on Navy Pier, and so for everyone looking for a bite to eat right after, it's just heading all the way down to the mile-long walk to the other end of the pier. I would strongly recommend that. It has fantastic fried chicken, which is wonderful to go with all of the higher acid cider we've been having today.
I will agree with that. Our reunion at the very entry of Navy Pier, the opposite end from where we are.
Okay.
And we occasionally our team gets a chance to have a beverage and a snack.
Fantastic.
And we were there the other day.
Wow.
And we had great food, great service, and so great recommendation.
You can't go wrong eating in Chicago, really. Between that and speakeasies and just the history here and the sightseeing, it's just a lovely place. Come out next year to Cider Summit in Chicago. This time during Chicago Cider Week, make it a weekend and go to the museums. Fun for the family. Go to the beach. What else do you go to when you're here?
Ooh, in the winter. We are very big on the indoors, but there are a lot of, especially in February, there's a lot of Black History Month events at the museum, in the Cultural Center, and also this is the end of Restaurant Week as well. And so there's just great opportunities to get out there, try food, live music. There's always something amazing going on in Chicago. Choose Chicago is the website, the tourist website that really provides you all the information. And so that would be the place that I just recommend you kind of look at. But just, if you don't mind the cold, getting out, walking about, and enjoying the ice over lake is always great too.
Well, it's a little bit less busy here, so it's a nice time to visit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are a lot of free days, a lot of discounted days to a lot of things.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, where are you off to next? And are you going to get us Mary Kate? She's right over there.
Yeah, I'll let her slide into to my chair.
Well, okay.
And I'll get back to work.
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Alan.
evening, everyone. Thanks for being part of this.
Thank you. He's a great guy.
He is a great guy. I mean, it's amazing. It's a lot to put this on. Chicago's not the only city that Summit happens in. It also happens in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle, Portland, and also San Francisco. And so to run these amazing cider-only, like, focused festivals, it's great. He's doing a fantastic job at it.
Yeah. I bet you know a little bit of the Navy Pier, but we'll save that for the other
Yeah.
side of it. Come on in here, Mary Kay.
Hey, hello. It's good to be back for the second session.
It is. We're doing great. Do you know my co-host here?
I do. No, it's nice to meet you, Malaika Tyson.
Hi, I'm Mary Cider Mc from Women in Play.
Actually, one of my good friends is your board chair,
You're kidding. Which one?
Lynn.
We're having a little bit of
Oh my gosh,
connection
sorry.
within the cider
Yes.
share. It happens
Oh
all
my
the time.
gosh.
Can you see the
Oh
fluff
my
floating
gosh.
around? It's just a
This is very
spontaneous
fun.
combustion in that way.
Okay,
We
this
love
just got more.
it. Okay. Well, let's hear a little bit about women employed.
So we are thrilled to have been selected as the charity of choice this year. So it's exciting that everybody's ticket, we get a $1 donation, and then these very generous vendors put together raffle packages and other ways to support our mission, which is advancing gender equity in the workplace. So we're celebrating our 50th anniversary. So since 1973, we have been on the front line of every advancement that working women have made. So literally everything from naming sexual harassment, writing the laws, and helping it get passed in the early days, working with employers to train people how to prevent sexual harassment in the workplace. We fight every day for equal pay because we know that women and men, and especially women of color, are still a big gap. And it's almost like when people come by our booth, I say, if you can think of an issue that you or your friend has had as a working woman, we're probably fighting for it. And whether it's access to education or fighting discrimination, as women employed, and hoping that we can help women advance their economic opportunities and also build their economic power.
And how about, is there a website or info that people could go to, a Facebook page, things like that?
So we make it really easy on social media. We're at Women Employed all across the channels. And then our website is just www.womenemployed, so women plural, womenemployed.org, and really hope to check us out.
We're hoping that we're live, and oh, we got a thumbs up. But if somebody could put a little message there, that'd be great. And why don't you keep talking a little bit here right now, and I'm gonna message some folks, see if we got it.
So I know you all have a raffle going on today. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I can't. No, like I was saying, the vendors here have been so awesome and generous. They ponied up and put together $500 of signs and hats and clothing and gift cards. And so we've been able to collect some extra money that supports our mission to advance gender equality. So, and it's just been fun. You know, it's our anniversary year, so we're serving free cake. We're selling raffle
Free cake is
tickets.
wonderful.
And people are stopping
Get
by
you
the
there,
booth.
get you
People
there.
are stopping by the booth. So we're having a lot of fun.
That's great.
We're back.
We are back.
Yay! We had technical difficulties. Whew. But you know what? We're pretty darn good as women up here.
We are. That's what it's all about. Women empowerment. We fixed it. We back on track.
Nobody was freaked out. We're just having a good time here.
Yeah.
Yay. Awesome. Well, I'm going to switch the little microphones here. So we take that one.
Continue.
All righty. And thank you very much for what you do. The work that you do is just absolutely invaluable. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, and thank you. It's been really fun to meet you. And for all of you I haven't met, Women Employed across the socials and womenemployed.org on our website. So thanks again for featuring us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very good.
very good to meet you. I will tell
You
our
too.
board chair you
Yes.
say hello. I love it. It's a small world.
It is. Chicago.
I love it. Oh, Chicago. The small town of
Yay,
Chicago.
okay. All right. Well, we're going to be having somebody else coming in here in a minute. Let me get this screen back out again and breathe into that. Okay, good. So that was really interesting.
That was interesting, but like you said, we just bounced back. Resilience. I mean, that just really shows resilience. And plus, if you have a little cider in your glass, you can make anything work.
We're all about going with the flow. Let me turn this around here a little bit so you can kind of see what the Navy Pier looks like behind me. Look at this giant ceiling here. Looking down, all the people drinking cider in the back. I hope you don't have too much cider FOMO. Sorry. We know it happens, right?
It does. It does.
All right, we got that screen set up here. We're going to be bringing in Eleanor Leger.
Yes, we are. She is right over there.
Eleanor Leger, we're going to be waiting for you. Eleanor, come on in. Chip, 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 chatty-o. Hello. And she is in the house. Are you comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, cozy? Yeah. Well, we are big fans of Eleanor and Eden Specialty Ciders up in Vermont. I know that you were just talking about Eden earlier.
Yes. I mean, she was asking what is always in our fridge, and I was like, you can always find Eden in our fridge. There's a great diversity from ice ciders to stills to sparkling. There's always something that we can find that we love, and it's here, everyone, you want something fantastic? Grab this one.
Well, we're going
to new labels. The new labels are amazing.
Oh, we're so excited. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute here, but let's just hear a little bit about who you are, and then we have a couple questions.
Sure. Hi. My husband and I started making ice cider in our basement in 2007, and we made a little bit more than we could drink, so we decided to get a license to try and sell it, and we sold out, and so we needed to make more, and within like 20
Here you are. How many years ago was that?
That was, we just celebrated our 15th anniversary as an official commercial.
50th anniversary? 15th. Okay. Well, I could have let that slide. 50th. Oh my God. That 100-year-old company. Wow. Wait. Okay. Well, I believe it. And you're up almost on the Canadian border.
Yes, we can actually wave at Canada from our cidery.
And I bet they wave back because we love the Canadians.
Yeah, well, I'm married to one, so.
That helps. Okay, so Malaika, you have a couple questions here.
Just passing on down. Yeah. No. So I know that you've been doing this for 15 years, and it was really because you had made that access cider. But really, what made you decide you wanted to try to make cider?
I've always really loved the connection of food and drink to place, and it just felt like Vermont cider was Like the apple is the state fruit, and people have been making cider there for years, and we just have apples growing all over the place. I just feel like cider is the right thing. Really, as I said, we started to make it just for ourselves, so it's like, I'm going to get into the cider business. It's not a thing.
And along this journey, has there been a woman who's inspired you? So either currently or in the past to like keep you going?
Oh, yes, so many. And I'll just shout out to two, particularly the Autumn Stove Jacket Blue Cidery, who's got her winery license at age 20 something small, and makes beautiful ciders. And I always joke I want to be her when I grow up, even though I don't know where she is. And then the cider would be Diane Flynn and Chloe Berry. She just such a such a wealth of knowledge about her varieties and cider to press.
No, both of them are great, and especially like when we got a chance to go up together and visit Ease. I mean, it was amazing to be up there. I was a little worried about us getting back because there was no internet. I was like, I hope someone can get us out of here. But just to kind of see their production and how they've grown, like, yeah, I see why she's very inspiring.
Well, folks watching in the UK right now are kind of sad that they can't get your cider right there, but you do distribute to the UK.
Yeah, you can actually find some of our dry ciders on Cider is Wine. And we do hope that we'll be sending some ice ciders over sometime this year. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful. So I'm going to grab this little microphone here. So you brought a couple of ciders here, right?
Yes.
And can you kind of hold those ciders up while Eleanor's talking about them? Which one would you like to show first?
Yeah, well, I brought two opposite extremes of our range. You know, we make like 23 different SKUs because otherwise you get bored. But this is Cinderella Slipper, which is a small batch, which I have a particular affinity for because all of the fruit for it comes from our little orchard. We are passionate about preserving small orchards in Vermont and New England, and ours is 4 acres. And we work with 11 other small orchards around Vermont to source our fruit, 100% of our fruit.
Look at that! Look at that pour too.
So this is naturally distilled, no bubbles. It's just the fruit from our orchard, spontaneous fermentation, nothing done back to a bottle.
Did you notice my technique? I could look that way, hold it still, and Malaika was able to pour, and we're like us cider girls. Like we all know how to do it. Eleanor keeps on talking. We're like grooving and grooving here. Well, let's taste a little bit of this. Have a little bit of a cheers. Yeah. Cinderella Slipper.
Yeah. Yep, we named it that because it was just like we pressed the fruit, we put it in the tape, we went away, we forgot about it.
Love it.
We came back and found it. We're like, yes.
Cheers. Cheers. I'm like that little doggy in that cartoon who like get a biscuit and then like fly up and then float all the way back down. Anything that comes out of Eden it's just a win-win. You're never going to lose. It's distributed really widely. You could come up to Vermont, our spot of Ciderville up on the northeast territory. Go check it out, but we're lucky enough that it's really widely distributed, so you want to really hunt it down if you can.
Or you can get stuff off our website too.
And website, yeah, we definitely want to always push people directly to.
And Cider Club.
Got a Cider Club.
We get that all the time. I love getting those emails when it's like it's time. It's like it's time. I mean, if you can't get it in stores around you, I strongly recommend that you join Eat the Cider Club.
Totally. Let's talk about the ice cider here. Let's show that one off because.
So this particular ice cider, ice cider is this crazy thing. We press juice, we stick it outside as it starts to freeze because usually it's really cold where we are. It's even more difficult this year. But right now, last night it was minus 22, so that was good. as the water starts to freeze, there's less and less liquid. That liquid's getting sweeter and sweeter. It's a little bit partially fermented, leaves lots of residual sweetness. And the heirloom blend is the original blend that we started with back in 2007, but this is a particular version that we aged in apple brandy barrels for 5 years.
Aged in apple brandy barrels for 5 years. Any particular kind of apple brandy barrels that you like to use?
So I'm so glad you asked that question.
Of course.
Because thanks to you, I got to meet Lisa Dunn from Laird's in New Jersey, and those were the barrels that we used for apple brandy. And I was so excited to share this with her and let her know that it was her barrels that made this wonderful.
Yeah. This is, I just know there's some liquids that you pour in your glass where you're like, okay, I need to sniff it and kind of like decipher. And when I get a pour from Eden, it's just like, let's just go straight to the mouth. Damn, that's good.
And for dessert wine, it's really, even though it's really sweet, it's got all this other complexity and it's tannin from the barrel, it's a little bit of gooziness.
Oh, so good. So perfect. Really, really good. Yeah. Well, everything you're doing is so amazing. We hope that you keep on keeping up.
We're so lucky. We have a great team, and we're just 6 of us. We're really one person per job, profession.
Hey, that's pretty good. 6 people at a team, you know? That says something about your piece. And also, we want to say that Eleanor Leger is the president of the American Cider Association. And she's really an amazing individual. You know, I just love her to pieces. I just do.
Well, I was also really honored as president to be able to present awards to the 2 of you this year.
Thank you.
Having a major impact on our industry, and we're just so grateful for everything that you do.
Yeah. There was an award called Significant Impact for the industry. And, you know, all these years I was worried about being a little insignificant. So now I can sleep well at night, not worrying. I used to have nightmares about being insignificant. So thank you for that, American Cider Association. I was worried about that. It's just incredible.
I never worry about that because my son, who would like to try and use big words when he was small, one morning at breakfast after I made him particularly good pancakes with particularly good Vermont maple syrup, he looked at me with stars in his eyes and he said, "Oh, mother, you are so insignificant." So it's a good thing.
That's the most beautiful thing I've heard all day. That's great. I bet it just made you pause and go, wow. Okay, cool. Really cool.
So anytime sister feeling insignificant, I'm like, you don't want that. That's fine.
No,
You'll be fine.
Okay. Well, Eleanor, you got like you're slamming it on the floor there. There's always a line out at your little booth right behind us, and we're probably gonna have to let you go for now. But we hope to see you soon, and keep on rocking.
I can see us in a minute.
You know I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was something. I just still like have a little bit of that in my glass. It's so
I
lovely.
finished mine too fast. It was great. I mean, it has a lot of complexity.
You could just
People hear
pour
about
out
ice cider. I could.
Take Eleanor's.
Yes, I hear about ice ciders, ice wines. I think super sticky, sweet, and this just isn't that. It really gives you that nice complexity.
It sure does. It's really amazing. It's just there's nothing like it, and she really makes
Yeah,
the best of the best because she's taught so many people around the world.
I know. It shows. I mean, it really shows.
Yeah. Although we want to just give credit to Quebec because that's really where it started from.
Right.
She learned it from there, and then she's helped kind of translate down the line.
Yeah, if she couldn't see Canada from her house, she wouldn't be able to make it. It just wouldn't even go.
I know. Hey, I've had so much fun with you. We're going to be bringing in another co-host here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been wonderful chatting with you. Enjoy the rest of your summit and these amazing ciders.
And we'll do this again, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, thank you. We're going to be bringing in another co-host because, you know, I don't really like drinking alone. I like drinking in company. And so we have Pacific Northwest Cider Girl. That's at PNW Cider Girl, and that's Ava. And How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Is it a lot of fun out there? Are we missing anything behind us right now that you've been doing?
I mean, there's some delicious ciders out here, and so if you're sitting here, you might not be drinking them.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we've been drinking a lot of cider. Did you come up with any particular cider that you really liked out there? Okay, I won't take you on the spot. I won't put you on the
There's a
spot.
lot of French ciders that I haven't had the opportunity to try before, so I'm getting to have them while I'm here, and that's been a treat. I love French cider.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, there's a good one down there. So, can you just tell us a little bit about what you're doing with your work in cider? And
So I like to say that I'm a cider advocate rather than using the word influencer, just because I feel like that word has a negative connotation. Really, I enjoy cider and I love cider. I've been a cider enthusiast for a really long time, and my idea was that there's a cider for everyone, and so I just want to share that love with everyone. So I review ciders. I host happy hour chats with cider makers. I do tours of cideries, and it's all on Instagram, and just show people what cider can be and how there really is one for everyone.
yeah, that's certainly true. Every palate, you could get that. Do you have a particular cider that you like? Is it one particular style?
No, actually, and somebody was telling me that today. They're like, I like that you just will drink anything. I will try any cider at least once, and most ciders, I can find something that I like about them.
Well, that's a nice way to go because I'm a little bit different. Only because, this is my viewpoint now at this point. There's only so much alcohol that one can drink. So I'm very, discerning in that way. And having been drinking for quite a long time and planning on drinking for a long time, I am a little bit more discerning. And that might come off as a little bit uppity. I don't mean to be that way, but I think that I've known that there are producers that, they're still working it out. So I do kind of dial it back and kind of wait until they're ready to go for that. And I want to say this year at CiderCon, I had more ciders than not that were really, really good. I mean, really incredible ciders that were surprising me. I could see the qualities coming up, and maybe it's the fact that COVID was a good thing. In one sense, the silver lining to every kind of crash report is that it gave time for people to hunker down and let their cider actually ferment and condition and develop its taste instead of just doing a really quick turnaround. I don't know if you experience that at all.
And I think it forced a lot of cider makers to think outside the box in order to make a product that people would seek out, because it wasn't really readily available. You can't just go to a bar and be like, yeah, okay, I'll try that.
Right.
So you had to make something that people really wanted to drink.
Totally.
I agree.
So we have a question here from Colleen asking, where in the Pacific Northwest are you based?
Yeah, I'm based out of Tacoma, Washington, so about 35 minutes south of Seattle, which means I get all the wonderful Washington ciders. I'm very blessed in that way, I guess. I get to drink a lot of quality ciders and I love it.
Yeah, I bet you do. There's a beautiful area. If you're not familiar with the geography of it, there's just so much water in that area.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a certain vitality and way that people live and enjoy life, and just another beautiful spot.
Yeah. And there's a lot of wonderful apples there too. There's the whole Wenatchee Valley area and Yakima Valley, and there's tons of cider apples being grown there now, and pears. There's some pears that are coming out of that region too.
We like hearing that because we know that pears are significant too. It's not just about that. Yeah, so we've got another question here. This is from Jeff, never heard of Cider Summit before. Sounds interesting. DuPont and Bordelais are the best. Well, hey, if you know something and you love it, then stick to it. And I will say those are good folks. If you ever come on the Totally Cider tour with myself, we actually were just visiting the main DuPont and Eric Bordelais, which is something we did. We had a little dinner with Eric Bordelais, talked about cider pairing. There's an episode on Cider Chat talking about cider pairing with Eric before dinner, and of course the DuPont family. I'm sure you've had the main DuPont.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I love French cider is what made me love cider.
Yeah.
It really is. I lived in France for a little while, and while I was there, I got to drink a lot of French cider.
Yeah. Well, if you like French cider, if you want to go to one of the best cider fests, besides this one that we're at in the world, go check out Cider Expo. It's taking place March 25th through the 26th this year. The last time they had it was in 2020. You have all the producers. You have a full lineup of all these ciders, including these producers. They have farms. They have Pommeau. They have Calvados. Not just one Calvados, but Calvados from 45 years ago all the way up, making Calvados cocktails. And you will get an education right there. They have some international guests too in the area, but that's a good one, Jeff. You should be checking that out. Get out to Cider Expo. That's CIDREXPO. I think it's .com, and they're selling certain still tickets now. It's only like €10 to go.
And where is it? Is it in Paris?
No, it's going to take place in Caen.
Oh.
They, folks. Some people wanted to move to Paris, but they said you must keep it in Caen because that's where the producers are. And get people out in the country. It's a beautiful historical city right in Normandy, and so that's what's going on there. Me too. So we're going to be pulling in one of our guests here. I think we have Carmen in the green room. So let's bring in New Zealand. Can we bring a little bit of New Zealand in here and come take a little seat with us? This is a real special treat for us. Let me get up a little banner here so you can kind of see who we have. Let's see. Maybe I don't have one for Carmen. No, that's just wrong. Okay. Well, welcome back.
Thanks, Ria. Happy to be back.
So this is a real amazing opportunity because Carmen is the proprietor, cider maker of Elemental Cider in New Zealand. And let's first just start there. Where exactly are you located in New Zealand?
So Elemental Cider is at the bottom of the North Island. So North Island, South Island, Auckland's the top of the North Island. Most of our apples are grown in the eastern side of the North Island and the top of the South Island. And I'm kind of halfway in between, so I'm randomly odd.
In all the best ways. In all the best ways. Have you been to New Zealand yet?
I wish.
Yeah.
It's on my list of places that I do want to go. And we were just chatting in the green room before, and I would love to go to the New Zealand Cider Festival that you were telling me about. I mean, I'm going to go to New Zealand. I might as well drink cider while I'm there.
Well, we have a festival every year in November. This year is the 4th of November. We have around 26 to 30 cider producers at that festival. And this year it is in Hastings in the Hawke's Bay, which is one of our biggest apple growing areas. So we'd love to see you all there.
Yeah, okay, I'm going. So you have an orchard, you're an orchard-based cidery. Let's just talk a little bit about that, like the size of your cidery and a little bit about the styles that you're making there.
Okay, I grow about 20 different styles of traditional cider apples, mostly sourced from the UK, so the Slatin Burrs, Constant Blacks, Arlington Hill, Knotted Kernel, those sorts of ones. And I have 6 acres of orchard, and I have a contract grower that brings in about another 10 acres of cider, so all up around 10 tonne of apples. And I produce 4 styles of cider, all dry, all based on apples or pears. I don't fruit infuse it by any means, it's just I'm a purist. And I design my ciders very much more akin to wine. So I have one similar to a Riesling, one like a Chardonnay, one like a Gewürztraminer, and one like a Prosecco, which is my perry.
Oh, so let's talk about that. You said perry.
I said perry.
So,
No, I use culinary pears for that. And I designed it for a Christmas morning drink. Turns out that lots of people liked it on Christmas morning. We sold out. So this year we relaunched it more as a brunch drink.
okay. Wow, that's fantastic. And is there a particular variety of pears that you're using?
Yeah, I use Winternalis and Peckhams and Taylor's Gold. So they're all the traditional eating pears. Completely not purist by any means on that lot, but it does. It's a nice, fresh, fruity, floral little drink with a little bit of effervescence, and it's just something that you can have in the morning without taking a bubbles and cutting it back with orange juice or something like that.
Oh, that's fantastic. I have a question here. When is the New Zealand Cider Fest?
This year it will be the 4th of November. And we will also be announcing all the New Zealand cider winners the night before.
Okay, well, now you can start making plans now to be there. I'll be producing my own fest that same weekend. I just realized, so I'm sorry that I will not be able to make it to New Zealand.
I mean, maybe I'll go and I'll send some love your way.
Okay, thank you.
It's a great time.
Tag
It's
teaming
great.
here in
Yeah.
the cider sphere. Beautiful. So you have been making cider for a certain amount of time, and I know that you kind of see like wine and cider, it's the same kind of process.
Same process.
But you weren't primarily doing cider in the beginning.
At the very, very beginning, no, I was a chemical engineer. I had a midlife crisis in my 40s and found the light. And I went, I went and did a postgrad degree in winemaking enology, and then the winemaking bug took off. So we planted cider trees, and I went and travelled the world as a travelling winemaker, learning my trade. So making wine, learning what ciders were around the world. Spent time in Australia, Austria, France, the UK, just looking and seeing and learning.
That's fantastic. And then you switched into cider. Do you do any wine also?
I don't do any wine for myself. I still make wine as a contract winemaker for friends when they need. So this year I did do a vintage in the top of the South Island. Our borders had been closed for so long, we couldn't get staff, so I agreed to be a winemaker this year and make wine for a fantastic winery called Whitewater Winery in the Nelson area.
And so, if we're looking at New Zealand, it's from the distance. It's like two like land masses with a little like strait in between. What is that water between?
Cook Strait.
Cook Strait, and you are on
Cook, like Captain Cook.
Oh, Cook Strait. Okay. See, you can tell how often I've been to New Zealand, and my geography in general. I was a geography major during college, and obviously I changed. Oh, bloody. Anyways, so you're on the north section of that.
Yes, we are. So I think our latitude is 42 degrees, which I think relates to somewhere around just North Illinois sort of area on the flip side.
Okay. Well, beautiful area. We have two questions for you here. Can you?
Yeah. So my first question is, what inspired you to get into cider? Why did you decide to become a cider maker when you left your chemical engineering?
My husband. My husband. We had visions of being self-sufficient, and when you are enthusiastic alcoholics like my husband and I are, we had to look at how we could live off the land and still enjoy the odd tipple. And so we planted apple trees, particularly the cider apple trees, but somewhere in the middle then we realised that we really needed to learn how to do it properly, because we didn't make it very well in the beginning. So it was the idea of living self-sufficiently and sustainably off our land, and then that was the impetus for planting the apple trees. And then I found fermentation, I found wine, and I found working in a cellar in my happy place.
And that kind of segues into my next question. So, we're here and we're celebrating women and women in cider. So, is there a woman in cider who has inspired you?
In a way, we have a fantastic lady in New Zealand that used to be the head cider maker at what is now one of the big corporate breweries, Miracle History, and she did a fantastic job. And now she's our head judge in the New Zealand cider competition and all the other competitions. But she's since left making cider to become a mum, which is great. But she's still involved in some way. But she's just a fantastic lady.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I know that I'm going to be sitting down with you later on tonight. I think we're going to be catching up and doing a little recording and finding out more about elemental cider for an upcoming episode of the Cider Chat. So, Carmen, we're going to say goodbye for now and wave to all the folks out there in the UK and around the world who'll be then watching later on. And
We'll come visit us in New Zealand.
Want to say that again?
Come visit us in New Zealand.
There
We'd love to have you.
There you go. Okay, thanks, Carmen. Well, we have one more guest tonight here, Ava, and that's going to be Deidre from the Cider Farm. She's going to be coming in and telling us a little bit. She's actually pouring here today while that's, happening behind us. Let's give a little view again, what's going on in the sphere here. You can see that again, the giant ceiling. This is the ballroom, the very, very tail end of the Navy Pier that was built like pre World War One. At that time, it cost $5 million to build this pier. They were supposed to build two. They only ended up building one, and they got the name Navy Pier because around World War One, the Navy were using it very, much because World War One as a staging ground. I'm not really sure how that worked. Maybe they were shipping them onto the boats, and I don't know.
Because we're inland, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
from this
know.
area.
I do not know these things.
Yeah.
But that was a lot of history for me to just share with you. So if you want more, you gotta Wikipedia. Okay, so anyway, so it's a cool spot, and we're just loving the space here. Why don't we bring in our next guest tonight, Deidre from the Cider Farm, which I believe is in Wisconsin. Is that right? No, Wisconsin. Look, it's come on in here.
Hello, I didn't know if I should bring my glass or what I needed,
So if
so
you brought a glass, that's a good thing to do. Let's have you
okay.
take a little sit down here first. I'm going to get this off my paper because if I
I'm so
lose that
sorry.
paper, I'll be I won't know what I'm doing anymore. All right, so welcome to our little live stream here today. Have you met Deidre before?
I don't think so either. It's very nice. I've seen you around, I feel like, in the last couple of days, maybe.
Yeah, I've been excited so definitely.
And we first want to start with where you, all right, good, I got it up here, at the Cider Farm. Tell us a little bit about where you're located and what you're doing up there.
Yeah, so we're a certified organic orchard in southwest Wisconsin, and we started our orchard for the purposes of making ciders and apple brandy. So we're not a normal orchard. Some people have said we're an apple vineyard, and we focus on growing English and French apples with tannins because the tannins give mouthfeel and complexity. And so we do a drier line of ciders and really feature the apple and want people to taste the terroir in southwest Wisconsin and see what real apples meant for cider can bring to your palate.
As opposed to those fake ones.
Those broke apples.
Those brick apples, I mean, they just do not press well. Do not try it. Do not take those ornamental apples there. Okay, well, we're kind of kidding aside, but I think we kind of know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Talking out of case. Now, you brought a little cider here. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so since cider is fermented like a wine, and you might oak a white wine.
She's going to show it,
Yeah. So we oaked our cider, and we're very simple naming. We call it oak aged. We have another cider that's called Classic Dry. It's a flagship cider with lots of those tannins in it. And in this one, we're getting more tannins from the wood, from the American oak, the medium toast that we use to make this oak aged cider. So it's dry. It's got lovely notes of vanilla, which gives some people a perception of a little sweetness. Pairs beautifully with so many different foods, such as any kind of alpine style cheese. It also goes with anything roasted. It's our go-to for Thanksgiving and anything grilled. And that season's coming up. Any grilled veggies like chicken, pork. It's a very versatile cider. I use it in cocktails as well. So
Perfect. So I see it says oak age, not barrel age. So you're. Let's just talk about the difference there.
yeah. We actually started out by trying barrel aging because we also do apple brandy that we age in charred oak bourbon barrels with wild apple from our farm. But we were getting notes of buttery popcorn, not quite what you're looking for in a cider. So we decided to just transition to doing using winemaker oak. So there's different forms of it, everything from staves to powders. We use it toasted oak cubes. They get a more even toast in the wood to give it the oaking that we wanted. Not too much, not too little. Just finding the sweet spot there while keeping it dry.
I'm so excited. Let's crack this bottle open and taste
All
it.
right, so.
Oh, we're getting a little bit of.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some lovely carbonation in there.
Beautiful. Yes. Can you see those little bubbles there? Just super clarity. Lovely, lovely. Okay.
Pour my sauce in, too.
Oh, I thought
Okay.
That was your glass.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
It's okay. We've been doing this for a while. Well, cheers, everybody. Happy Cider Summit.
Yes, happy Cider Summit. Thanks for doing this.
Lovely. Lovely. I really like it. And I expected to like it.
Well,
I did.
You are a cider aficionado, so it's a compliment to us.
Well, thank you for that. What do you think, Eva?
It's delicious. I tasted everything that you were talking about. The notes of vanilla are like, they're just subtle enough where it's not overpowering the apple, but you can taste it and it's just,
It's just delicious, yes. So you have this here today. What else are you pouring out here at Cider Summit?
Yeah, we have our classic dry, which is really our flagship cider. We use 5 of our tannic English cider apples blended into a tart apple base. All the state grown at the cider farm in southwest Wisconsin. And it's balanced, it's just a nice balance of tannin, acidity, and just subtle sweetness to give it a palate feel. So it's my lunch, brunch, dinner, anywhere, any time of the day, in cocktails. So it's like brunch. If you're doing brunch tomorrow, that would be the go-to. And then in cocktails, we use some cocktails also orange juice, mimosa, apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we're also pouring our cider here. So cider, by definition, is when you co-ferment honey and apples, all of which comes from our farm and the honey from our neighboring farm. And then when it gets to higher alcohol, it's about 9%, and then we back sweeten with a little bit of honey. So it's very good. And we use that in cocktails as well.
Wow. You kind of like offering everything, spirits, cocktails, and cider. But, my mind says, don't add this to anything. Just drink it straight up, baby, because this is all that I need. This is it. This is it. And we see that, yes, Colleen, the clarity is gorgeous, isn't it? So you're not doing any kind of cross-flow filtration or anything
We're
else?
doing sterile filtration on it.
Okay. So there you go. Yeah. Lovely. So we have a couple questions for you.
Yeah, so how did you get into cider? Like, what inspired you to make cider and to do that as your thing?
Yeah, well, my husband and I always
They can hear you.
Okay, they always wanted to do a farm-based business together. Finding a real farmland in southwest Wisconsin, and we just knew we'd do things organically and also a fine finished product. So after we bought the land, it was like get busy, was the business, and we landed up doing this site. I have 3 degrees in agriculture, so I became a farmer. I'm still the farmer. I grew the apples, and my husband runs a tasting room in Madison. And then I lost interest in plantation. Now we learned that cider's fermented wine. So we thought, well, let's make a fine wine. So we searched and we were which in particular developed apples fermentation and those tannins. Great, we'll buy those trees. They weren't available in 2003 when we started. So we took a class on grafting and learned to make our own trees. And that's how we started. So it was a very slow, deliberate way to start a business, and it took us 10 years to have a product in the marketplace that was actually our health brand because it was aged 2 years.
Wow, that's something.
And then after that, we started launching our ciders.
I'm being inspired by your story right now. I'm like dreaming a dream of my future. That leads into my second question. I mean, we were talking about women in cider. That's what this whole celebration has kind of been about here at Cider Summit. Is there a woman in cider who inspired you or that inspires you now?
There's women now that inspire me. I mean, I've been in the trenches of trying to figure out, and it didn't take long where I realized I'm a data point of 1, male and female in the U.S. trying to grow these strange varieties that nobody in the universities knew about. They're English and French, growing them organically in Midwest conditions. And so it's kind of like pioneering, I guess, in a way. I did get a chance to visit our garden hills early on, and so since there was a Spencer there, I've certainly been able to attract women to work with me in the orchard, which is interesting. Most of them have conservation backgrounds because that's really the ethic that guides what we do. So a very strong conservation and resource conservation ethic, and while making a finely crafted products, that the two go because we need those natural resources to give us the quality products.
Absolutely. Well, it's so lovely for you to come by today and bring some of your delicious cider and share a little bit of your story. And can you just tell us exactly, if you're like traveling to your spot, you have a tasting room, and just where to give us that image of like the geography of North America, the U.S. What part of the state is it in?
Yeah, so our cidery and tasting room is in Madison, which is in the south central part of Wisconsin. It's 2.5 hours northwest of Chicago. And then our orchard is 1 hour west in what's known as the Driftless region of Wisconsin. It's a beautiful, rolling dairy countryside with rock outcroppings. It was unglaciated, so whereas the rest of that Midwest area is kind of flat, we're not at all. Now, when I tell people are interviewing to work for me, I tell them, we're downhill all the time. So, and we do orchard tours. And we love people. We love to share this beautiful landscape, and we like people to connect with what we're doing, but also why we're doing it. So we welcome people to come to our schedule for tours. We also can create cheese and charcuterie picnic boxes, all made with local products, and just hang out with a bottle of chilled cider and enjoy some of the Driftless region.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, Deidre, best of luck in what you're doing. I think you took the right approach to your cidery. Your product is speaking volumes for it. It's a win-win for us today, isn't it?
It was very nice to meet you. I'm like planning all these trips in my mind of where I'm going to go and do some cider tourism.
We welcome you. You walk through the orchard. We literally walk through the orchard with a wine glass in hand, and as you meet the trees, you taste what they make. So it's a really fun way to experience cider.
It sure is. That's the best way to do it. Well, let's do one more little salute here. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And to everybody out there in Ciderville, kind of your special spot, we're going to be signing off now from Cider Summit in Chicago. We're so happy that you joined us. I hope you have a glass in hand. We kind of expect that they do, right? Yeah, because that's what we do here. And we'll be bringing you lots of different recordings from this experience. You want to make sure that you follow Ava at BNW Cider Girl. That's on Instagram. And also Deidre at _cider_farm. So, and of course, my name is Ria Windcaller. I am the producer and host of the Cider Chat. And from Chicago, for now, we say adieu, be well, and stay safe and warm.